Hello, hello. It's so good to see you both here. Thom, Christina, I'm so happy to be able to speak with you today. Would you go ahead, just both of you, introduce yourselves, give us a quick who you are and why we're here.
Sure. So I'm Christina Courtright Jenkins, and I am the founder of Embody Your Essence brand and a few other brands that I have built based on my passions. And my deepest passion is helping people uncover their essence and then embody that essence. And essence is like that soul self. A lot of times it's called authenticity. And that is what I'm super passionate about and what I've been doing really my whole life in a variety of industries and in a variety of ways. But it all comes down to that being my purpose.
Awesome.
That's nice. It's nice to know I'm in partnership with somebody doing such exciting work. Well, I'm Thom, and I created Serenity and Leadership as an organization some years ago. And it's set up to help organizations and people be more in touch with themselves and to establish ways in which they can be empowered to lead into the future. We are very challenged in this world. The world is moving really fast, and the challenges that are coming up are not ones that most people saw coming. And so the ways of leading actually in many ways have got us into the poo that we're in now. And so it's really important that people develop new skills, new ways of being to lead into the future. And that's really what Serenity and Leadership is about.
Okay. Well, I'm so excited to collaborate with both of you, and I'm looking forward to seeing you at your upcoming retreat. It is called Leading Through the Void. So I want to know what it is. Tell us about the retreat. Tell us who's designed to come and where we will be going.
So Leading Through the Void is an adventure. It's designed for people who are successful in whatever terms they define that. The thing is, I think today that an awful lot of people who are successful feel very driven. And it's that drive that sometimes is a little unknown. It's not clear where that drive comes from and what it means. And because of that, in a sense, people's lives are slightly out of control. And the idea is that the void is that space where the drive is coming from. And because it's unknown for so many people, what we want to do is to help them go on a journey with all sorts of things that we can talk about a little bit more, but essentially a safe space where they can reflect, they can be with themselves, they can be with others who are also successful and also kind of driven, and they can explore together what those drivers are. And it's not to say you can get rid of all the drivers. It's to say, let's do it consciously. Let's understand where that impetus is coming from, so that it's easy to make a choice then about where do I put my energy? Because an awful lot of people who are successful are at a stage in their life where there are transitions going on, and it's a good moment to review, to have a space, put down the phone, close up the computer, and say, yeah, let's think about this and let's do it consciously.
I love it. That's awesome.
And I think also, when we talk about this, it's having that space where there's guidance, And also that space, Thom said, it's a safe space. It's a space where you're with people and facilitators who know that you have everything within yourself already to solve all of your problems, to uncover all of these drivers. And sometimes it just takes that space and some conscious guiding. And then I always think of it like a puzzle. You've got all these puzzle pieces, and with this space and some conscious guiding, you can put all those puzzle pieces together because they're all there inside you already.
Mm.
I love that. That's a great visual. That's awesome. Okay, so going to the retreat, there's benefits to the leaders, both personal and business benefits. What are those going to be?
In our everyday lives, we're so busy with work, with family, with all of the other things that we're doing. And sometimes just being in a different location with different people allows us to open ourselves up and to reflect in a different way. There's just a huge body of research on what can happen when you take a break from what you're always doing that allows you to think in a different way. And so that's going to benefit anybody who participates in both business and personal, because the two are really tied together in so many ways. And so having that reflective time to look at that. So that's one of the benefits. Another benefit is being there with other high achieving driven people. And so the network is so powerful, so important. And so making new friends, creating new potential collaborators. So that networking piece is extraordinarily important, and a major benefit. And just to think about, in this productivity driven world that we live in, you're in a space where you're being productive in a different way. So it feels a little different than a vacation, and yet you still have these benefits of a vacation: a beautiful place, your meals prepared for you, activities set up for you. But it's in this, not just the idea, say, of a vacation where you're taking a break and stepping back. And I'd encourage anyone listening to this to think about all the great ideas that came to you last time you were on vacation, and then times that by 100, because the entire purpose of this is to free up your mind, like just untying those knots of our mind and in our patterns that we get stuck in, because that's just part of life, because we're doing so much of the same things. So those are just a few of just the multitude of benefits.
Right.
I think that when you climb on a plane and you have this, it's a very different experience in a sense of going somewhere where you're going to be attending to yourself, where you're going to give yourself the space to reflect and to ask yourself maybe some difficult questions, but they're very productive questions. So it's like you're coming away with a very different intention, and we'll help people with that, because once they've booked, we'll be sending them questions and thought starters and so on, so that we build up. The retreat will begin, in a sense, when people commit, not when they arrive. So I think, and sometimes these processes, for some people, they're very fast. For others, there's much more of an integration that takes place. For some people, they'll choose to come on a retreat themselves, and for others, it might be the organization that says, "Hey, this looks like a great step for you. Would you like to do it?" To which, obviously, they're going to say, "Oh, yes, I'd really like to do that." So why would an organization send an individual on a retreat like this?
Right.
And the answer is because you're going to get a better leader back. You're going to get someone who actually is perhaps a little bit more reflective, is not so reactive when things happen. That they have that they're more in touch with an inner resource inside themselves, which enables them to make better, clearer decisions that are in a perhaps a wider context. You know, a lot of leaders are very focused on what's facing them in the moment, and we need leaders who can look forward and be agile, actually,
Right.
and be able to step lightly from one foot to the other as they encounter challenges. And I think they'll be much more sensitive, most of them. You know, some maybe super sensitive anyway, but much more sensitive to what's going on around them and their people. You know, when you can have confidence in, you can trust, and people who feel like that, they perform better, they're happier when they come to work, they are more creative. There's all sorts of good things that emanate just from the presence, you know, and that in and of itself is important, is just enabling leaders to be present and understand what that means.
Perfect.
It's a very exciting thing to be led by someone who's just there.
Mm-hmm. I loved what you just said. So enabling leaders to be present. That's huge. That's huge. So as both of you are leaders yourself, I want to ask about retreats that you've taken. Reflect just for a moment about how those retreats have positively impacted your own leadership skills.
Well, I've attended a fair few retreats in my time, some as participants, and some as you know, a co-leader and a leader. I really value the time to go away and just be out of the normal environment, and to be able to truly reflect and be challenged. You know, some exercises that you do on these retreats. I mean, clearly every retreat is different, and this one is unique. I think, but nevertheless, one has similar experiences where I have been challenged, right? And as a result of that, because you've got the space, because you're not rushing back to do something, or you've got to attend another meeting, you know, these experiences are not diluted, so that what I've found is that I've been able to consolidate the learning and be aware of what has come up for me as a result of these experiences, and therefore much more conscious and able to say, I was like this, those were the consequences, and now I can choose to be different. Or indeed, this exercise, I think, has changed me, and that's cool, that's good, because therefore I am different in some ways. And I know this works because I've had some feedback from my children over the years who said, what are you doing? Or you're different.
Cool. That's awesome. Christina, tell us about your experience as a retreat attendee. How has that positively affected your own leadership?
Yes. So as an attendee at retreats, it has been really life-changing, simply because of that space, because of the being in a different environment. It's just allowed me to be more creative, calm down, and take breaths. And because you're in that environment that is different, it starts to rewire those neural pathways so that when you come home, you can carry that over in. And that is one of the things that in this retreat that I'm very dedicated to, is giving each individual the tools to come home. Because I have been to some retreats where like it was all fantastic and everything was great, and then I come home and I'm not sure what to do, or how do I keep doing that? Do I need to be back in the space? And so having that toolkit that is built from the time somebody commits to it until the time they leave, they have a toolkit and access to continued support and resources. And that's something that I have experienced in going to retreats that's really been the life-changing piece. And so I think retreats are the best way. I run programs and I run retreats, and hands down, the longest term, deepest results come from the retreats.
Very cool. Okay, so Thom, this one's for you because you have chosen the location. So the location is on a lake in Guatemala. In Spanish, it's Lago de Atitlan. In English, it's Lake Atitlan. So we're headed there. Tell us what the participants will be doing each day.
I love the place, and it is, as you say, it's on the lake. There's volcanoes all around. It's very inspiring. It's very inspiring, and the local people are lovely. They're kind. They're generous, and you know that, Tobie, better than anyone. The daily routine will be based on a structure, if you like, where there'll be some sort of morning activity, moving the body, yoga, or some sort of moving meditation, which people will be invited to attend. I know some people will prefer the comfort of their bed, but that'll be on offer for everybody. And then there's a breakfast, and I'm sure they'll get up for that. And then we'll be meeting in small groups to just, sometimes just reflecting in a smaller group is easier for some people who find talking in the larger group a little bit of a challenge. And then we'll be meeting as the whole. I think one of the things it's very important for people to explore and get used to is that it's all part of what is my body telling me. As a leader, I think we really need to be in touch with nature and our body, the at a much more elemental level, and then going into some sort of introduction to a concept normally, which is followed by some sort of experiential exercise, which and then sort of a bit of an unpicking of that. What did you experience? What did you learn? How was that? Going into lunch then. And then a long lunch, which gives you a space to go away and reflect on what's happened in the morning. Give yourself some time to journal. We'll be talking about journaling and how to journal, which is actually very often very helpful for people. And then another afternoon session similar to the morning. And then we'll break for an evening meal and have again a bit of space. And some of the days, maybe not all of them, we'll have a session after supper. Again, just to get people set up and thinking and reflecting in the right way for their sleep. And then the next day we'll start again.
Okay. Christina, do you want to add anything to that?
I just wanted to add that every single activity that we have planned is done with intention. It's got a track record of, again, rewiring the brain and the body so that this is part of that toolkit that goes home. It's all very done and very intentionally and for highest impact.
I love it.
Awesome. And along the way, obviously different people will be having different experiences, and so it's really important that we we support people, and there'll be a kind of support system, so that if people are having an experience and they're not quite sure about that and so on, we will be there to support them. This is very much a supported process right the way through.
So just to be clear, the size of the retreat is pretty small. It sounds like we're going for a more intimate feel. How many participants are you looking for?
We will not take more than 30 because we do want to keep it intimate. And we also want to have enough people that there is a wide opportunity for networking with people as well. And so Thom and I, as people, guides in business leadership, one of the comments that I've often got when I have clients go to a retreat, because oftentimes they've never met me in person, it's all been online work together, and the power of being in person and having access to experienced business leaders like Thom and me in this case is priceless. It's an absolutely priceless benefit.
I agree. Yes. That's so great. Is there anything else you'd like to share? Like really why an organization would send a leader on this retreat, why an individual would want to join us on this retreat? Just anything that you'd like to leave us with.
Well, I think it's worth mentioning, Tobie, that you'll be there.
I will.
And you have local knowledge, and perhaps if you wouldn't mind sharing a little bit about what you're contributing to this experience, because I think it's a very important aspect, actually, particularly grounding.
Thank you. So I was not planning on sharing. Thanks, Thom. So yes, I have been working in Guatemala for over the last 11 years, and we have a small organization that works in a remote village or community, and we have been working with the people to support and fight malnutrition while creating experiences for education and changing lives with that combination. So I have been lucky enough to spend over the last decade in this exact location. This is where my heart lies. This is definitely where my passion is to empower people. And I believe that that is done through service. So I believe that when we will also get to have an afternoon of service with the community that I work with. And so during that day, it is a very empowering and very impactful afternoon to spend, to see how individuals live in a developing country, to see how life is outside of our norms, outside of our bubbles. So going back to what you both said, stepping away from the norm and getting out of the everyday, this is a fantastic experience to be able to do just that.
Mm.
I'm really looking forward to that humanitarian portion of this. I think that being with people who live in a different way is so educational.
I agree. And life affirming. So we will all leave this retreat with a whole lifetime of toolboxes tools to use, and a new toolbox will be ready to be awesome new leaders.
I think it's very humbling, and I think that's good.
Mm-hmm.
I was talking about leadership. Well, I've been talking about leadership all day today on various Zooms, and humility is something that it's good to come back to. And so I very much value what you do and the contribution that you will bring. And I think they are lovely people that I have experienced there in Guatemala, and I think honoring them and their way of life, and I think just seeing a different way of life just with the people around the retreat itself, it gives one a different perspective, and I think that's part of this.
Absolutely.
This retreat is going to be such a beautiful combination of transformation, of fun, of movement in the physical body, in the mind, in the spirit, and full of rich new experiences for everyone who attends. And I'm really looking forward to it for all the things, and especially meeting all of our new friends who are going to be there.
Yes.
And I guess just to say that we still have an early bird price that's available. So for those that are touched by what we've been saying, then go to the website, leadingthroughthevoid.com, and sign up. And if it's your organization that's going to send you, then go and badger them and say, listen, it's got to be done. You've got to do it now, because we are limited to spaces. And we really encourage you to take advantage of the early bird prize. So book up now. Don't delay.
Perfect. Absolutely. Thank you both. Thank you both for your time, and thank you for your wisdom. I'm excited to meet you both in Guatemala in September.
Thank you, Tobie. Thank you, Thom.
Thank you, Christina. Come join us.